Welcome to Crypto Rosetta. My name is Savage. Today we're going to be looking at CONFLUX. Let's get into the price action and see what's going on. As we said in previous videos, we don't have a lot of price history to work with, so we are looking at this in two ways. So what we are looking at is the potential that either this is still in a corrective move, which we could actually look to reject from this higher range here and actually still look to push down towards this zone of this 0062, or alternatively we could argue that we have a low in place here and we're starting to move away. Now if this is a corrective move to the upside, what we would be looking for here is the potential that this is a W, this is an X here, and then we are looking for this as an A, B and a C to the upside. What we would be looking for typically here would be a 1-to-1, which would actually look to push us up towards this $2 region. However, looking at this typical rejection zone that we have here, we can also potentially look to target out this 786. So now if we did move up to the 786, be quite an interesting area. It would be past this 0.618, which would be a minimum we'd be looking for. And if I actually just come on here, I'm actually going to turn on this 854 as well. So this could also be a potential zone we look for a rejection, or if it would be this 092 as a 0.854 retracement. That would actually tie in better with this 1-to-1. And what I'm looking out for here is that if we do move back to the upside here in a three-wave move, what we could effectively do is we could actually come back into this channel and we could actually look to swing fail this high, which is sitting here towards this 82.28 area. So now if we did move up here, we'd be looking for this as potentially looking for a C wave to the upside. Now this would be valid for as long as we actually maintain this low of this 13.26, and what we'd be treating this as is an A, a B, and then looking for this C wave to the upside. Now if we are looking for this as a C wave to the upside, what we would want to see effectively would be something along these lines. We're treating this as a wave 1. We'd be looking for a wave 2 here, looking for a 3, 4, and a 5. Now, this is the same with both of the counts. What we'd be looking for, if we're looking for extension, would be the same thing here. Now, the way that I'm treating this move is actually looking at this as a flat. It is, however, possible that this 1, 2 here could be 1, 2, and then we could just move directly away from this. But given the current structure that we have here, coming into the hourly, this is looking very corrective and messy, this area here. So what I am looking at is the potential that actually what we have here is an A, B and a C. So now this would be looking at a flat correction, and what we'd be looking for would be the potential to actually break down in a 5-wave move. So that would be treating this as a wave 1, looking for this wave 2 here, and then effectively looking for that possibility of a bigger wave 3, 4 and a 5. So that wave 3 would actually look to target out this 0.27 area as a third wave. Now if we do look to push up a little bit higher here, our rejection zone for this would be between this 32202 to this 3324. Moving up past this high here of this 3405 would invalidate this white count here. It would not, however, invalidate the blue count. Invalidation of that comes by crossing this 3488. Now if we do look to break down like this and we move to this 0.618 here at this 2731, what we could see is an additional 4th and a 5th wave, looking to actually target out this zone of this 2689 to this 2622. Now if we do move down into this lower range, what I'd then be looking for would be that possibility of a 3-wave move back to the upside, looking for this zone of this 2930, and then an additional 5 waves move to the downside, looking to actually push us down towards the zone of this 2616 to this 2527. Now this would be looking to bring us back into this lower support zone here of this 2738 to this 2461. So this would be looking for this area to hold. As long as this area holds, we can potentially look for that possibility of a move to the upside here in a bigger way. If we start to lose this 2461, it becomes less probable that we would see this. Now if we did see this, would move back down into the 0.618, which would be this 2620, what we'd then be looking for is a move up towards this 4944 for wave 3, a wave 4 to the downside, somewhere around this 3917 area, and then an additional 5th wave to the upside. So there could be some extension in here which could actually look to push us higher into the channel. So I would be mindful of that if we are coming up here, it is quite likely we will look to retest this channel. This channel would be sitting towards this zone here of the 6253. Okay, so now the other way we were talking about this move was actually looking at this as a possible extension. Now this is technically possible, but there are a few things that I don't like about this in this count. Now, we were talking about this as 1 2 1 2 1 and looking for this as a wave 2 and then looking for that possibility of extension. So that would mean that we would be within a bigger third wave, effectively looking for a bigger push up towards this $1.87. Now, this is technically still possible for as long as we hold this 1326, but the fact is that this wave 2 is actually gone quite big, and it's not common that the wave 2s get bigger within these sequences. Normally what will happen is if you do have an extension, your primary wave 2 will be your biggest, and then the wave 2s will get smaller within the sequences. But here we have them getting bigger, so this is actually becoming less likely here. However, like I said, as long as we actually hold above this 1326, we can potentially look for this. But what we want to see is price action actually starting to explode to the upside here and getting towards this 187. Only by reaching this 187 would we have confirmation of this count. The other way that we were talking about this was actually treating this move rather as a 1 2 3 4 and a 5 in this manner, in which case what we were talking about is actually looking for a deeper retracement, looking to come back between this 01485 to this 042273. Losing this 042273 would actually make this less likely for seeing this as a 1 and a 2. But what we could actually see here is that, well, this move could actually be a wave 1. We could be looking for this wave 2, in which case we look for a bigger wave 3, or alternatively this could be an A wave. Now the key thing here is that we'd be looking for support to come in. Now typically speaking, we would look for this lower down towards this 50% to this 786, which would be this 1029 to this lower range of this 0422. Now it is, however, possible that because we have a fourth wave that is sitting in this location, we could actually see this fall somewhere between this 382 and this 50%. A 50% retracement would come back into the center channel line, which would be quite an interesting level, and then we could actually look for that continuation to the upside. Now, looking at this move in this way, what I would be treating this as is that from further back here, we have this as A, B, and C. Now, looking at this as a potential B wave to the upside. So B wave rejection area would be this 4140 to this 3328. Now the thing within this structure, however, is, like I said, we do have that possibility of this being an A, this being a flat correction for a B wave. What we could then see is something like this, where this is actually A, B, and C. We come back up here, face rejection below this 4140, and then actually look to continue to the downside. So this is going to be something we need to be mindful of if we do move up into this level. We do have some interesting zones here. Within this area, I do have some daily, monthly naked points of control in here. So this could be a level that we actually see a rejection of. So I'm going to just turn this on and we're going to look at some of these levels. So we do have a monthly naked point of control sitting towards this 3712, which would tie in with actually coming into that golden pocket. Also higher up here, we do have some daily naked points of control towards this 3807, 3967, 4309. And then we also have the potential that if we do look to push up high enough here, we could actually look for that possibility of a swing failure off of some of these highs that we have here to the left hand side. So this will be something I'm be mindful of, that if we do start to push up higher here, we could actually see a move into some of these levels before looking to reject to the downside. Obviously, this is looking for that case that we're looking to break down. Now, it is also possible that somewhere within here, this could just be a corrective move rather, and we could actually see this just roll over. Now, if we take this low here of this 2286, it will confirm that this has just been a corrective move to the upside, and what we'd then be looking for is the potential of this C wave to the downside towards this 1587. Now that would tie into that idea of coming towards this 0.382 here of this 1485. So keep an eye on that level if we do break down here and this previous fourth wave structure. Now what we need to be careful of here is that we don't have actually something bigger, because like I said, you know, typically speaking, what we look for as a B wave is lower down here towards this 50% to this 0422. So now, because of the fact that we do look for this typically lower, we need to just be aware that there is still the potential we could see something like this play out, where we see this as a 1-2, this is another 1-2 here, and then we look for a bigger third, fourth, and a fifth. Now this would be valid for as long as we remain below this high here, which would be this 0469 area. If we stay below this high, we can potentially still look for this to continue to play out as a impulse. Now, Key zone here would be this 3866. Breaking up above this and consolidating above this level would indicate that it's more likely we're going to take these highs. However, if we fail to actually get up there, we've actually already rejected off this golden pocket. If we do start to break down in a bigger way here and actually make a move down towards this 1170 region, this would tie in with the idea that from further back here we have a bigger 1212 where we're actually looking to break down in an additional set of waves. So if we do move to this 1170, we'll be looking for a 3-wave move to the upside, potential to come down towards this 1060 to this 09 area, and then that possibility that we could still see another 4th and a 5th wave to the downside, which could actually look to bring us down into this lower range here of this 8674 to this 0694 region. Now this would be quite an interesting zone to come into. If we do break down here in this way, where this is just a single 5-wave move, this would probably then indicate to us that this whole sequence here is actually going to just be an A wave. We're going to see a 3-wave move to the upside for a B, and then we're going to look for that C wave down. Now that C wave down, we'll be looking to target out lower down in this target box here. So we would be looking for this potential to actually come back lower into the zone if we do form a 5-wave move. Obviously, also if we do form this as a 5-wave move, we need to be careful that that bearish scenario isn't taking place, where we could actually be looking for this C wave to the downside looking to play out, where we've been talking about this potential of actually still seeing a C wave down. Now this C wave doesn't have to come down to this 1-to-1, but I would like to see it come at least to the 618 and preferably breaking this A wave low here. So we need to just be cautious of that if we do actually look to break down. Now I want to just talk about some other things here. We do have, if we look at this as an entire range here, we can see here that we are actually towards the value area high. Now, we are currently sitting above this, but if we do start to lose this, we just need to be aware that there is always the potential that we could see a move down towards this point of control or this value area low. Obviously, we do have some high volume areas sitting here towards this 055. We also have one sitting here towards this 4th wave, which would be quite an interesting level. But like I said, if we're looking at this as a possible retracement, we could see a reaction here towards this 1631. So I would be keeping an eye on that level. Obviously, directly above where we are here, we also have some zones towards this 3756 and this 3197 currently where we're sitting. So it'll be interesting to see how price reacts here. If we can manage to move above this area, then potentially we could look to get back into this channel. If we start to falter here, it becomes more likely that because of the deficit and the volume here that it becomes more likely we'd actually see a continuation to the downside, particularly if we lose this low towards this 2251, then it would, it would move through this level quite quickly in my opinion. Now, if we just look at this previous range up the top here, it's quite interesting to see how prices reacted to this. So we actually came up and we rejected exactly off this value area high here towards this 4829. Now, we are currently sitting around this point of control, which is also sitting here towards this 3375. So one other thing that I would keeping an eye on here is that if we do look to push down here and we have one more drop, I would be keeping an eye on this value area low, which is sitting towards this zone of this 01635 area. Once again, this would tie in with that idea of the corrective structure that we were talking about here, looking for that 3-wave move to the downside. Looking at the weekly CPR, we can see that we are currently sitting below these central lines here. So what we need to be cautious of is if we fail to break up here, what we could see is a move down either to this R1 line at this 2924, this R2 line towards this 2557, or even this R3 line towards this zone here of this 2273. So this would be an interesting zone to keep an eye on. If we do continue to reject off the bottom of this area, we could actually start to lose this and look to move back down to some of these lower areas. If, however, we do manage to break back above this, we could potentially see a move to this S1 line, which would be this 3570, this S2 line at this 3853, and this S3 line towards this 4112 area. So this could be interesting if we are looking at that potential of looking to break out. But even if we're looking to come back down here, potentially that flat correction, this 2557 would be an interesting area to keep an eye on. Now, if we also have a look at this on the monthly, what we can see here is that we're currently sitting underneath the central pivots. Now, with this, we need to be cautious because if we continue to reject off these levels we start to lose this, this could mean that we actually come back and retest this R1 line here towards this 24.52. Now, if we did move down deeper, this R2 line would be at the 17.19. So I would be keeping an eye on that as well if we do look to reject. Moving to the upside, if we regain these, we do have this S1 at this 42.01. We have this S2 at this 52 area and this S3 at this 59.31. So I would be keeping an eye on those levels. Obviously, these are only valid until the 1st, and then we will get a new set of CPR lines printed here. Looking at the Ichimoku cloud here on the 1 hourly, we can see that we are starting to lose this and are starting to turn red. It is still very thin, so it is quite easy for price to move through this, but the thicker the cloud gets, the more likely it is that we will get rejection within that zone. Now, if we then come over here onto the 4 hourly, what we can see is that we've actually had a drop into this cloud. Now, it is always possible that what we could see is a move lower down and actually coming back into this lower area of this cloud, which would be this 28.83. However, if we do break back above this, we could look to actually find support on this and then look to move away from these levels. Now, if we look at the 8 hourly cloud, we can see that we keep rejecting off this top line here, which is sitting towards this 33.70. However, it is starting to turn green now, so this is often a bullish sign, but this doesn't mean that, you know, price has to go up. It just means that we can start to actually build some support. Now, an interesting level for this would be actually be this 28.80, which would be an area we talked about potentially coming back into as a if this is actually forming a corrective move to the downside here, where we look to actually retest this level. So I would be keeping an eye on that. You know, potentially we could see a move back down into there. Obviously, we need to just be aware that if price breaks out of this, we could start to reject from some of these lines. We do have the baseline also sitting here towards this 28.82. Looking at this on the daily, we are well within the cloud. It is green, but we are starting to thin out here a little bit, but we are still within it. So even if we did have to break down, I would be keeping an eye on this lower zone of this 25.55. As well as that, we do have this area here of this 28.75, which could look to offer us support at the conversion line. But the conversion line has dropped below this baseline now, so we just need to be cautious that you know, if price starts to break down here, this could actually put us in quite a bearish situation. Okay, so I'm going to leave the video there. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please smash the like button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, turn on those bell notifications so you never miss a video, and leave us some feedback down below. Also in the description, you'll find a link to the Discord. Come check it out. It's free to join. Everyone have a great day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.